7 lies about real estate. That's the topic for today's episode, and without further ado, let's dive in. Novarise. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode at Novarise Invest. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this is your channel for real estate education. So today we're going to address all the lies that you've been hearing about real estate that I tend to hear over and over again. So for that, what we're going to do is to go straight into the tablet so we can go over each and one of them. Okay, so here we are in the tablet. So lie number 1, you need a lot of money. Is that true? I don't think so, because it all depends on how creative you are in terms of money or in terms of utilizing whatever is it that you have at your disposal to invest in real estate. So one creative way to invest in real estate with very little capital is through a platform called Fundraise. If you come to think of it, with Fundraise, you can invest with as little as $500, right? Just to get started with them. Don't have $500? Don't worry. There are other, let's say, assets that you can actually invest in, and those are REITs who are based on real estate, and you can start with as little as $5, right? And let's say, because we are in a society where variety is actually appreciated, let's say you don't like any of these options that you're actually finding or that you're looking at right now on the screen. So another option is to invest in real estate through OPM. So what is OPM? OPM stands for others people's money, right? And what does other people's money mean? So other people's money could be a mortgage that's going to help you, get access to the property without having you to wait 10, 20, 30 years just so you can save up enough money. It could be a loan. It could be money that you could get access to through a 0% credit cards. And for those who are hearing about the concept of credit card for the first time to invest in real estate, don't worry, I created an episode and I'm going to leave a link down here below so you can take a look at it and get an idea of what exactly I'm talking about. Now, second point, the second line that I hear all the time, real estate is very illiquid. Interesting. I don't understand why people would say that. Why do they think this is illiquid? I mean, for all I know, real estate produces cash flow every single time, every single month you collect rent, you have cash flow. And at the same time, you are building equity that it's going to help you build up your net worth, an equity that will allow you to also get access to cash through a cash out refi or through a HELOC. So I am not entirely sure why will people say that. Well, I mean, it sounds pretty liquid to me, right? Now, the third lie I keep hearing about investing in real estate is that people will trash your property. So people destroying property, right? And let's say that there's some truth to it to a certain extent, but a lot of this actually have to do with the inability to qualify a good tenant, right? Because if you're qualifying good tenant, if you're qualifying a good tenant, then there's nothing to worry about. You see, a lot of the issues come around with time and desperation, right? People buy a house and they sign on a mortgage. So they're already desperate. They want to rent their house as soon as possible because, within a few days, you are going to have to pay for a mortgage and you don't want to have to worry about paying out of your pocket. And so what most people do is that they interview people based on what they like. Oh, they said something wonderful about the house and I loved it. I have a nice feeling about this. No, there's no such thing as a feeling. You don't make business decisions based on emotions. That's why there's a pre-qualification process. That's why you qualify people to become renters. I mean, the bank already does that with you. They qualify you through your tax returns. They qualify you through your FICO score, through the cash reserves that you have. So you shouldn't think any different because you're placing a person in your house and your property long term. So you want to at least take the time and make sure that this is a good tenant and that you want to make sure that this person will take good care of your property. You can do that through references, although that could be sometimes manipulated, so to speak, because their friends can be the references. But then you want to get copies of their pay stub. You want to get a letter of employment to justify or to explain or verify how long this person has been at their job, right? If they have been able to hold a job for like at least 2 years, then it says a lot about the person, right? It says that this is a responsible worker who managed to maintain a job for 2 years. For some of you, it might seem quite like, sort of like a given, like, really, you can't maintain a job for 2 years? But yeah, there are some people out there who cannot do that. So you use that to verify, okay, this person is responsible. You use their tax returns, you run their credit, and those are some of the steps that you can take to make sure that you are placing somebody of good quality in your home that is gonna help you take care of your property, right? Now, lie number 4. But before we go ahead and talk about it, if you're enjoying this episode, do not forget to hit the like button right here, because it's going to help this episode rank and help others like you who are looking for information of this kind. And if for whatever reason you happen to know somebody who's looking for this type of information, call it a family or a friend, just make sure you share the love and send this episode their way so they can learn just as much as you are right now with this video. Now, back to the topic. Lie number 4. Houses are too expensive. They can be if you don't know where you're looking. If you come to think of it, if real estate investing was so easy, everybody will be doing it, right? Don't you think? So in order to make this happen, you need to know where to look. You need to educate yourself. You need to do the proper due diligence, the market research to know exactly where you're going to invest your money, right? So let's say, for example, if you're living in a place like New York City and houses are ridiculously expensive and you want to invest there, hey, I mean, this statement could be true for you. But if you know where exactly to look for, let's say, desperate sellers, maybe these are sellers who potentially lost their job, or maybe they have a family member who got sick and they need cash readily available, and the only asset that they have is their house and they're looking to sell. You can come in, provide value, add value to their lives, and then get yourself a house at a very nice deal. But you have to know exactly where you're looking for. And don't be like one of those who go and read magazines and go online to try to find out where the next up and coming neighborhood is. Chances are, if it appeared on the paper, you're already too late in the game. You want to go into an area before it even takes up, before anything else happens in the area, before everybody else know about that. And the way for you to know about it, it's just simply through doing research and educating yourself so you know exactly where to look for that information. And if for whatever reason you're looking to learn about the areas or how you can actually do the proper research so you'll find those secret hideout areas or hideout places or towns or cities, there's a link down here below where you can actually sign up for a webinar that's going to teach you everything you need to know about real estate. And the webinar is free. All you got to do is just to make sure you have at least 2.5 hours on a given day. So just pick a day where you have no distractions whatsoever, no Instagram messages, no iMessages, nothing of that kind, and dedicate yourself at least 2.5 hours to learning. Make sure you bring a notebook, make sure you bring your pen, working pens, to make sure that you can take notes. And that way you will learn everything you need to know at no cost whatsoever. All you got to do is just to click on the link down here, take action, and sign up for a time that works out for you. Okay, now back to this video. The 5th lie that I kept on hearing is only rich people get to do it. So if you come to think about it, every time you go on the news, every time you hear about someone else's story, typically the people who have made it in real estate investor are people who are building themselves from the ground up. You don't hear a millionaire coming out and say, oh yeah, I've been handed out all these properties and now they're mine, at least not openly, right? But for the most part, the people who actually make it, they have learned to be creative. They've learned to build nothing. They have learned to create money from zero all the way up until the point where they manage to expand their real estate portfolio. All you need to do, once again, is to educate yourself. And that's why you have access to this online webinar where you can learn. You will learn to invest with other people's money. You will learn to invest with credit. And if you don't have any credit, don't worry. That's why you're watching this channel, so you can eventually learned to build a strong credit profile so that way you become irresistible to lenders and you have all those loans, all that cash, all that capital lined up for you and waiting for you to come in and, invest it away. So back to the tablet, no, rich people are not the only ones who get to do it. People who don't have any money get to do it. You just have to learn and be educated. So all you need, once again, is education, the right type of education, and learn how to invest with other people's money. And an example of other people's money could be credit cards, could be mortgages, could be private lending, and you name it, right? And you will get to learn all about that in this link right here in the webinar. Now, moving along to the next lie that I keep on hearing over and over again, right? Lie number 6, it's completely passive. You don't have to do any work on it. And sadly, I was one of those who actually believed in that lie. I thought that once you own real estate and you place a property manager in there, you don't have to do anything whatsoever. But it's not true. There is some level of work that actually goes into it. Why? Because you still need to manage people. You need to manage your property manager, right? Property manager. You still need to manage the bank, believe it or not, manage bank, because you need to pay for the mortgages. You need to make sure that the payment got through. You need to make sure that they are paying for the insurance if you have escrow in the equation, right? And for those who are actually brand new to the channel and you don't know what an escrow is, it's basically an account that the lender set up for you so that they can set money aside, and then once a year, they'll take that money that they have set aside and pay for property taxes and pay for your insurance, right? So sometimes if you're not on top of things, the banks might not necessarily make the payment on time. Sometimes the insurance company will reach out to you and say, hey, we haven't received our payment. What happened in there? I mean, mistakes happen because at the end of the day, even though they're a bank and they have everything automated, there's still people behind in the equation, and people can make mistakes. We'll all make mistakes. So the fact that you think that you can completely sit back and relax and have it be completely passive, that is not true, because there's some level of work that still goes into it. And it's necessary because you can't just sit back and completely ignore that you have assets performing for you. You have to keep monitoring them and make sure that they are in fact still performing. Otherwise, you will have to implement your exit strategy and just simply decide what you want to do with that property, whether sell it, doing a cash out refi with it, you name it, right? It all depends on what your investing goals are. Now, moving along the list, lie number 7. You have to do a lot of work. You see, this is completely the opposite of the prior one, right? So a lot of work. Yes, I have heard about this comment over and over again, and it all depends, right? If you are the type of investors who wants to do everything yourself, you want to manage the property, you want to fix the pipes, you want to fix the heater, you want to take care of the grass, the garbage, yes, it will eventually be a lot of work and you will be miserable at it. So why would you want to do everything yourself when you can only pay somewhere between 6 to 12% of your monthly rental income, assuming that you are flexible in your budget and that you can afford to do that, for someone else to do all of that work for you? At the end of the day, isn't financial freedom the reason why you decided to go and invest in real estate? So you can have freedom, you can have time, and use that time and either develop yourself so you can become a much better version of who you were yesterday, or just simply use that time and build memories, build quality times, happy memories with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends. That's what all of this is about. So yeah, a lot of people say it's a lot of work, not necessarily, because hey, you can delegate this to a property manager. And the whole a lot of work thing can also be taken care of if you qualify a good tenant. Why? Because when you qualify a good tenant, there won't be much that you will need to be fixing, right? Because they will be taking good care of your property. So you wouldn't have to deal with a broken pipe or a burned down kitchen or anything to that matter, because you did the proper due diligence from the very beginning. You took a little bit of time to qualify the tenant, maybe, but that time was completely worth it for you to have a peace of mind for the remaining 12 months that you have on the lease, or maybe even 24 months, depending on the state or the type of lease that you want to issue to your tenant. So you can provide a safe and sound housing while you get to enjoy the benefits of investing in real estate. So that is pretty much all I have for you today. Don't forget to check out the free webinar for those who are interested. And while I still have you here, do not forget to check this video right here, which is going to help you complement everything you just learned today. And until then, I'll see you soon and take care. Bye-bye.